we we head into Niagara Falls, so we're just gonna listen to the Ramsey show and enjoy the scenery.
Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Common sense you transform your life from the Ramsey Network in Fairwinds Credit Union Studio. This is the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, thrilled to be alongside my buddy George Campbell. 888-255-5225 is the phone number. 888-255-5225. I'd love to hear from you. We're gonna have some fun today. George has got his favorite denim jacket on, and that tells me he's ready. We're not fooling around today, though. Because when you get up in the morning and decide, this is the jacket, I always know you're bringing it. Yeah, I am impervious to criticism when I'm wearing this denim. Very exciting. Anderson starts us off in Atlanta, Georgia. Anderson, how can we help?
Good afternoon, Ken. Good afternoon, George. So my question, thank you again for taking my call. My question is, I'm currently on baby step 2 of the, and my partner and I are on our collections, on our debt collections. And we currently have 3 credit card collections that are 7 months old. One that's $3,200, another one that's $3,800, and then the last one is roughly $3,750. And we're not really sure how to deal with collectors. This is our first time doing this, so I'm not really sure what's the best way to approach them. Should I settle in full, or should I pay them all in full, or should I just settle? And I also owe the IRS $4,200, and I was thinking of pausing the debt snowball and knocking that out first before I go into collections. So what's the best way to approach those things?
Well, I'm glad you know your numbers. It sounds like life was chaotic for a little while there. What happened that got you guys to miss all the payments and go into collections and missing the tax bill? What happened?
Yeah, so last year we were just fooling around, just traveling and really looking over our money, and after traveling we couldn't pay the credit cards. We funded all the traveling with the credit cards, all the expenses and going out, everything, groceries, we funded it with the credit cards, and after a couple of months we couldn't pay it, and then we just let it ride until we couldn't pay anymore. And then this month they sent us a mail saying that we owe them this amount, which is $3,200 for my lady. And then they sent me 2 mails saying that I owe them those amounts. Also last year, I was working at a 1099 with a construction company. And this year the bill came through that I owe the IRS $4,200.
Because you weren't setting aside money for taxes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I was just spending it because I didn't really know how to manage that money, because it was just, I didn't know I had to set aside 25% until the year ended, and I'm like, oh shoot, and that's just what happened. And now I don't have $4,200, so
Okay.
we're trying to knock it out.
Yeah, well, you're right. The IRS debt is going to come first.
Okay.
So I would just, if it's in collections, there's no payments, just leave it. You haven't been paying it anyways. Let's leave that alone and just stack up that $4,200 to get Uncle Sam off our back ASAP. How quickly can you do that if you do nothing else? You and your partner, you're not doing anything except keeping the lights on and paying the IRS.
We'll probably knock it out this Friday once we get paid.
Amazing. Okay, good. Then once all that's done, you can start talking to collection agencies, and you can try to settle. Now, here's the thing. I'm a fan of having integrity and going, I signed on the dotted line. I went $3,200 into debt to go on this trip. I'm going to pay the $3,200. If the debt is old enough and they're willing to settle, you might shave off some money there. But 7 months is not an incredibly long amount of time. So you're probably on the hook for what you owe.
Okay.
In that case, I'd start be honest with them. Call them and say, hey, listen, I don't have the money now. Here's what I can do, and here's when I will have the money. Are you willing to settle in full for, say, $3,000? And never give them access to your checking account.
Okay.
So you can do like a money order, a cashier's check, but don't just give them direct access to your account, because they will take the money.
All right.
That's all you got to do, man. It's not fun. And part of it is just being in denial about it. So just start tackling them, get the IRS one knocked out, and then you can kind of debt snowball the collections as they go and see who's willing to settle. And again, your goal for the next 6 to 12 months is just knocking out these debts and then getting your emergency fund in place and never doing any of this again.
Thanks for the call, Anderson. Let's go to Sam in Casper, Wyoming. Sam, how can we help?
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. I'm a big fan.
Thank you. What's going on?
Yeah, so I'm going to buy a truck now, and I'm sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place trying to decide how much to spend. You know, I'm a fisherman. I make good money, and I've done a good job saving. But I'm trying to figure out, you know, between spending $35,000-$40,000 on a truck, or you know, something a little older, something with a little bit more miles. You
Well,
know,
what's your
$20,000.
what's your income?
So as a fisherman, it's variable, which is kind of making it a little bit hard for me. but
You're a full-time
around-
fisherman?
Yes.
Okay.
In Wyoming?
Typically, no, that's where I spend my shoulder season. So,
Okay. I had to ask.
the fall.
I had to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, well, give us. How long have you been a fisherman? And then what have you made, kind of on average, so that we can pin down a number, because that's going to dictate our answer.
Was a truck
Yeah.
that you fish.
So, on average, I've been a fisherman about 5 years now.
Okay.
And of course, it's a boom and bust industry, but
Sure.
typically in the close to $100,000 range. Of course, self-employed, so you've got all those factors to deal with. But,
All right,
yeah,
George, tell me about our. All right, so we've got a formula. George, walking through this.
So the goal here is we're going to pay cash, and we're going to make sure that everything in our life with wheels and motors doesn't add up to more than half our annual income. So is this the only thing in your life, or are there other? I mean, you've got a boat involved. Now that's more for business.
Yeah, so I'm actually not the owner. I'm just a hand on deck.
Okay. So you don't own a boat. You just. So what do you need the truck for?
No.
If you're not
I've
owning a
got
boat.
no other. Yeah, I've got no other debts. So I need a truck, really, because as I'm thinking through this, I'm sort of at the tail end of my career. In that, you know, fishing becomes a hard job to do as you get older. And as I'm sort of planning through my next life steps, I'm thinking something, you know, along the lines of, you know, contracting or building, or it seems like everything.
What's the timeline? Sure. So what's the timeline for making that transition?
I would say definitely within the next, by the time I'm 30.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay. You're already on the cusp of retirement. Oh, from fishing. Is it? I mean,
No, see, you should be careful. You're going to get in trouble. I've not watched all these shows. I've watched all these fishing shows. I watch some shows, and it's hard for
Let me rephrase. Sorry, let me rephrase. Not retirement by any means. Retirement from fishing.
Yeah, no, I got it. I'm tracking with you. We don't have a lot of time left, so real quick, what are you driving now? Give me the 10-second
That's
answer.
it. I just sold a truck, so nothing. I don't have a vehicle.
okay. How much money do you have?
Yeah.
I've been able to save, you know, I guess it's like $35,000 in cash.
Same with your emergency fund?
Yes, completely.
Okay, we gotta separate those two out. Let's get the emergency fund, and then anything above and beyond that becomes the car fund money.
What's the number, George? I'd like to see him in the 25 or less.
Let's wait until you know what you actually need. So right now I get a used older truck, probably 20K.
I was going to say the same. We don't need a truck for a business that doesn't exist for 3 more years. A car, though, we need. I've been doing this show for over 30 years, and some of the saddest calls I've taken are situations that are completely preventable.
Yeah, and what's so hard is I feel like one of those, especially the ones that I'm like, oh, it's terrible, are people that call in and their spouse has passed away suddenly and they don't have life insurance. We actually took a question of a lady and she had 3 kids, pregnant, and husband didn't have life insurance. And I'm like, I can't even imagine, or even if it was opposite, right? If a mom passed away, there's a dad with kids and trying to figure out how am I going to afford childcare? How do I outsource some stuff that maybe she was doing? Like, and it just takes the grief and the sadness of something like a sudden death to a whole new level. Like when you have to think through how am I going to pay my bills in the middle.
Next week.
Yeah, in the middle of all that grief, like it's terrible. So life insurance is the one thing, especially as a mom with 3 little kids, that I'm like so big on for people to get because it's inexpensive. Xander is the place that Winston and I actually get all of our life insurance, and we keep re-upping it because I'm like, I just want it there. Like there's something about that safety of knowing that you have money if something suddenly happens.
And it doesn't cost much because Sanders shops them with a gazillion different companies. It doesn't cost much. You just have to admit that someday you're not going to be here. You got to say it out loud. And you got to say, I'm going to say I love you and my family by taking care of them and taking the time to put this stuff in place. It costs no stinking pizza.
There really is. So that is one thing to do, to say I love you and your family.
So we've used Xander for all of our family's needs for insurance for many years, including, of course, term life insurance. To get a free quote, go to 800-356-4282. That's 800-356-4282, or go to Xander.com.
Jane is up in Phoenix, Arizona. Jane, how can we help today?
Well, I thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure.
And I have a little difference with my husband over budgeting.
Okay.
And his idea of budgeting. Now we are both. He's 73. I'm 66. We're debt free. We have a little bit of savings and we have some money invested. But I feel like we need to be on a dollar for dollar. You know, every dollar where it's spent budget to get us through these retirement years that are coming up, because we're not really set financially to travel and do the things that I was hoping we could do in retirement. And my husband's idea of a budget is that you spend less than you make.
Yeah.
And I wrote you guys about that because I wanted an answer, and you know, that's where we are. We are debt free. I appreciate that, you know, the spend. I mean, neither one of us spend a lot, but there's always a lot of tension over what's spent because we don't really know what's going out. And I just,
It's a lack of clarity.
yeah, and he listens to your radio show. He's the one that says we got to debt free. We got to have this much money put away. We got to do this before we're going to retire. This is what Dave Ramsey says. So I reached out because you're someone he listens to. And
Well,
I
but
feel
when,
like,
yeah, and I appreciate that, and I guess he's listening. Is he in the room with you?
no.
Oh.
We did set it up so he could be, but he is in his office doing something else.
That's
So,
convenient. That is
you know,
convenient. You know,
Yes, it is.
before we dive in, I just want to know what his response is, given the setup he just gave us. That he talks about us. He's like, hey, let's get debt free. So he's on board with a good bit of it. So when you say I feel tension, I feel we need to go dollar for dollar, what is his response?
He gets extremely, I don't want to say volatile, but yeah. I mean, he gets very, very angry with me because I won't say that spending less than what you make is a budget.
Are you guys been
Basically,
married?
well, the budget.
Yeah. How long you guys?
28 years.
28 years.
28 years.
Okay. And the reason I ask that is, what's your best guess as to why he doesn't want to do it that way? To the point that he gets agitated. What do you think is behind that? You know him better than anybody.
So a little backstory. If this is a second marriage for both of us, Ember's lost his first wife to cancer, and he thought he had saved up the money and they had a plan, and it was all devastated. And the reason I'm pushing for the budget is because as a single mom and as a school teacher, Larry Burkett back then, who shared with me how to set up a budget. A friend of ours was working with him and set me up on a budget, and even as poor as I was, a little school teacher's income with 3 kids, I was able to make my bills. And we were both, when we got married, we were both debt free. We have never had any debt in our 28 years of marriage, except for our house, which the current house we have is paid
And
off.
you're both frugal.
Yes, very
I'm going to
frugal.
make a suggestion. I don't know if George agrees with this or not, but just listening to this situation, I don't know what's behind it. I'm not sure you do either. I appreciate that information, but there's something emotional for him around the idea of sitting down and going through the specifics, the details And I'll give some insight because I hate that. It's just something about my spirit. I feel like I'm a wild Mustang. And I just how I've always been. I don't like anybody telling me what to do. I just really don't. And I've had to fight that, but also to learn about it. And so he's got to get to a place where he realizes, oh, this is why I don't like it, and it doesn't excuse it, but it does get him to a place where he goes, I still have to do it anyway. In other words, I don't like going to the dentist, but I gotta go do it to keep these pearly whites healthy. All right. So there's a trade-off on some of these things. But I'm gonna make a suggestion, George, and I want to bring you in here on this, and I don't know what you think about this, but based on the fact that they've been married 28 years, they're very frugal. They do live on less than they make. They got no debt, and he just has an aversion. He's the free spirit, is what we'll call him in this situation. If you're Gene, you're very aware of the finances, right? You have a full picture of it.
Yes, yes.
I'm going to suggest that you put together a budget for him. Now, I'm not saying that's the long-term play, but I think initially, George, I'd like to see Jane come to him and go, hey, I know that this creates tension for you. I'd love to know more why, and I don't want to do that, but this is for us. And so I've attempted to do a budget, and I'm trying to take all the yucky, icky out of it and go, here's my first pass, and present it to him and see how he does with that. Because it may just be the idea of sitting down, talking it out, hashing it out, and maybe he's an editor. What do you think on this?
Well, we always say one person's going to make the budget, the other person's job is to mess with it and screw it up. You know what I mean? That's how you create some teamwork. There needs to be some give and take here. And so I do think showing them a budget that reflects reality, that says, hey, listen, you're going to have fun. If that's his holdup, is that we're not going to have any fun if we're on a budget. Put the fun money in there for him to where he gets to spend his $500 a month, whatever it is. And that way he realizes that the budget is really permission to spend. And I think right now he just sees the budget as, well, as long as there's money left over in the bank, we're doing okay. And yet you both go, well, the trip feels frivolous. Well, how do we know it feels frivolous unless it's in the budget, right? And then also, have you really dug in, like Ken mentioned, to go, what's behind all this? Is it because of baggage from the past? Is it triggering a difficult
I don't know.
time for him?
That's what and that's the part I really don't know. He's very private.
What is your household income?
It's about 120.
Okay, and that's all retirement, nest egg, Social Security.
Well, I'm still working. He's on Social Security. I still work.
Okay,
So,
and are you wanting to stop working?
Well, no, I have a dream job. I'm a principal of a private.
Oh, that's amazing.
Great.
With 45 kids.
Come on, that's great, Jane.
No,
Okay.
I mean, my plan has always been to work till I was 70 because I know when Social Security will be higher then. And that was kind of what we were banking on. He has worked up until just recently, so he was also working. And at that point, I mean, in the last 2 years, we've probably put like $30,000 to $40,000 in our savings. Now we've spent, but then we're able to generate that much savings because we don't have any expenses.
Jane, I got to tell you, I appreciate you calling. I don't think this is a crisis, but I do think that the concern that you have is legit. But I will also tell you that the reason he's not wanting to do this is some type of a fear. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's a massive fear, but I can't put my finger on it. I can tell you this, if I talk to you for 5 minutes, I can absolutely tell you what it is. I really could. Because it's a fear.
Well, he just walked out of his office.
Yes. He finished his Sudoku puzzle. He's ready to talk to us.
No, he was talking to somebody.
I think this would be good. If we can get it, we may have to put you on hold here and get this set up. But if he's willing, and here's the thing, I want to make sure you know this, he needs to feel safe. This is not an attack,
Not a gotcha.
and he needs to know that I'm like him when it comes to budgeting. The process, I don't enjoy it. But if you'll allow me, I think we can dig in and find out what he's afraid of and what causes the emotion, and I think it's going to help you guys.
I think it's going to unlock something in your marriage and for your future.
Is he willing to do this? Because I know we're catching him off guard.
Well, you just heard me say the word afraid, and you make a funny face. I don't know. Would you be willing to talk with them?
on her leg.
I love him already. He's a great poor guy. We're catching him right the hallway.
Mom, did I realize I guess I'm blindsided?
No, he's not blindsided. This is going to be fun and positive.
Yeah, please stay on the line. We
All
want
right,
to
so here's the
hash
deal.
this out.
We'll put you guys on hold, okay? And you guys discuss it. And Christian will verify this, but this is not a gotcha moment. We are for him. This is not an attack. But I think we can uncover, as a guy who doesn't like this, and I'll tell you what my fear is going into this. My fear that has always made me resistant to the sit down part is I don't want to disappoint my wife. I am a recovering people pleaser. And so there it is. I'm leading, folks. This is not a gotcha thing. We'll see if we can get a little breakthrough for this couple. And if not, we'll move on.
If not, it was entertaining.
All right, so we'll talk. We'll figure it out. Finally, mortgage rates have dropped, and you know what that means? People who've been sitting on the sidelines are about to jump back in to the housing market. So if you've been waiting to buy, this could be your window, but you've got to be prepared and do it the Ramsey way. You need to contact Churchill Mortgage. Their Home Buyer Edge program gives you peace of mind in a wild market. You can cap your rate for 90 days, so if rates go up, you're protected. If rates go down, Churchill will drop yours automatically. And get this, Churchill will even back your offer with a $10,000 seller guarantee. So if your loan falls through due to financing, the seller still gets paid. That's how confident Churchill is. Plus, when you shop as a Churchill certified home buyer, it's stronger than pre-approval. It makes you look like a cash buyer, which makes your offer rise to the top. So don't let this moment pass you by. Get ready now. Go to churchillmortgage.com to get started today. That's Churchill Mortgage.
All 6 locations in MLS ID 151 and MLSConsumerAccess.org.
All right, so we're going to go to Jane and Bruce. Now we're going back to Jane. She's got Bruce, and we're on Bruce's team. Bruce, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Man, I want to tell you something. Thank you for doing this. People are going to love this, and I want it's going to help some dudes. Two, I am normally like you. For years, I hated the budgeting process, and I just don't want to do it. So Jane called us, and you know what she talked to us about. So I wanted to ask you a real quick question. Creates tension for you. What do you think's behind? I have a fear behind mine, and it's a fear of disappointing Stacy, not being enough. If the budget doesn't turn out the way I want to, we can't do it. So I have always avoided it. Okay, now I don't anymore, but that was my story. And I'm trying to make you feel safe because your wife really wants to go through the budgeting process. We encouraged her to put a budget together and let you just be the editor. You don't have to sit there and construct it. But we just wanted to know, because it'll help you and her. Do you have a sense of why it's a negative emotion for you when the idea is discussed? What do you think it is?
I don't have any negative feeling on budget. My budget in my head, so far, I don't see any problem. The reason I'm not having a budget.
Yeah, you guys have done well. Now, to be fully transparent, Jane told us that when she brings it up, that you get upset.
Well, I mean, if she wants to have a budget, let her have a budget. I mean, the only thing I would say, you can't, like yesterday, our car went down and it cost $1,000 to get it repaired. So put it in the budget, you know, where's that?
Well, that's in the emergency fund, right?
I know. If it's, and we have $10,000 emergency fund, if we don't need, or we need more, our roof is going to be needing replaced. That's $20,000. So we go to
has $120,000 in it, and we got $20,000.
So you're talking in terms of emergencies right now, but what about everyday spending? What about the fun stuff, the vacation? She wants to buy $1,000 purse. Are you gonna, raise some eyebrows at that?
As long as it's paying for it, there's a problem with it. If you start taking out a savings, then I have a question about that. When you take out a savings, it needs to be something that is above and beyond our needs.
Right.
And is $1,000 purse a need or a want? If it's a want,
Well, you said earlier, Bruce, you said, well, the budget's in my head, right? You said the budget's in my head, what's the problem? And I'm going, well, Jane can't read your mind. I think the picture of the budget in your head versus what's in her head are two vastly different things, and there's invisible tension there.
okay, maybe she has question. I don't know.
There you go.
I haven't.
So you're okay. You're okay if she brings you a very detailed budget and says, "This is my first pass at it," and you're okay looking at it, going, "I don't think we need to put this over here. I would say it over here." You're okay going through it line by line, dollar for dollar, if she puts the first draft together.
I don't know if I've got time. I guess I could.
I thought you were retired, Bruce.
No, I'm tired.
Bruce stuck in his own way.
Time. He's just exhausted.
Yeah.
I still have work to do.
You don't have 5 minutes, though, to look over her budget that she works really hard on?
I looked over it maybe 20 years ago.
Okay. All right. We got a 20-year-old budget. All right.
If she wants to budget the expense for vacations, let her budget it.
All right. Is Jane, are you still with us? Are you listening to all this, Jane?
Do we have Jane on the line as well?
Yeah, Jane is here.
Okay, what do you
and-
think about everything you just said?
Well, I think that what he's saying and what y'all are hearing and what he's meaning are like different things.
It's a game of telephone while we're on the telephone.
Yeah. Well, the reality is, I don't know that Bruce necessarily understands. Like, here was my take when I had a budget way back when, forever ago. You put aside, let's say, $10 a month for fun, okay? You might not spend it this month. That means then you bank it in, and then the next month you have like $20.
Right.
But then the third month you might need something that's $30. Well, because you didn't spend those first two, you have it, so that at the end of the year you end up balanced all the way across. So that is my idea.
This is
of
a
the
private
budget. So that
conversation.
would mean like the car he's talking
You guys need to
about.
sit down and talk.
That was an emergency, but we would have had an automotive piece going out.
A sinking fund for, vehicle maintenance and repairs, to where you didn't even need to touch the emergency fund.
Exactly. So we wouldn't have touched that all year, but then, October, we need that money, and boom, that money goes in. So I think, in a way, that's what he's calling a savings, which it is, but it's not budgeted that way. So it's this unknown. So then when I do say, hey, I'd like to go on this vacation, well, what are we going to give up in order to do that? Because at that moment, he wants it all to be balanced, and it's not, because
So if you're wanting to plan ahead, and he goes, well, it either comes out of our emergency fund savings, or it's not going to happen. Okay.
right. And that's the problem, is that emergency fund can be for the car, but it ends up being the vacation money, which puts so much stress when there's a vacation.
You want some more labels on this, and he's going, well, it's just all in my head, and we'll figure it out, and if it's in savings, that's great.
Exactly.
And to his
Okay,
credit,
I forgot to go.
service calls there. Okay.
Service call.
All right.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
You're a good man. You're a good man.
Work down the road. Thank you.
Work with her. Bye-bye. He's got to go see the Roto-Rooter guys. Now it's fun. You don't want that to not happen. You got to make that's a priority. Get it. Like Bruce is a man of priorities.
Bruce is paying everyone in the neighborhood. He's got the car repair guy, the service call guy. I get why he's stressed.
Jane, we're with you. So here's the deal. I think, having talked to Bruce, thanks for doing that, by the way. Jane, you still with us?
Yes.
Okay, this is great. So my insight in listening to Bruce is a man of his ways. And nobody else's ways are going to get adopted. And he's at this point 71, 73. Can we be honest? And I love Bruce and I'm honoring Bruce, but there's not a lot of change in Bruce's life that's going to happen. All right.
You're right.
I know.
He's not going to go start yoga
It's
tomorrow.
just, and I love Bruce. Like, I would love to just throw lots of topics at Bruce. I think Bruce would be a great podcast guest. I think he's got a lot of salt and vinegar in him.
He is the Clint Eastwood of budgeting.
He really is. So you're gonna have to lead the horse to water. You remember that old phrase? You're an educator.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
what we already said you've got, but I would go this route. I would pick one major item that's causing you stress, and I think it's the vacations, the trips.
Yep.
And I think okay, great. I think you gotta go. We want to go to Bora Bora, and it's gonna cost us 15 grand. I'm making this up, all right? So you lay all of those powers of influence and persuasion that only a wife has on Bruce, and you say, Bruce, you went on the show, you told George you can, she can budget if she wants to. That's what he said.
That's her
into
business.
it. And so you know what? You start pulling money aside. You do the line by line, stick it in front of him, make him edit it. If he doesn't edit it, then by osmosis, he approves it. And you start putting $500, $1,000, whatever you want to a month away to Bora Bora, and I think we lead Bruce to water, at which point Bruce drinks. But to explain to Bruce why we should go to water, why we should have a cool drink, Bruce isn't having it. He's never gonna have it.
He's too tired and he just doesn't care.
He's
And so
tired and he's got to take care of the service.
you have to
guys.
care on behalf of Bruce, Jane. That's the truth.
You gotta care. We love Bruce, but Bruce is Bruce, and you're amazing, Jane. Thank you for that. I think that helped a lot of couples.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, I hope the air filters and everything get changed. The sprinklers. I mean, Bruce is on it.
We got to get some stability in this house.
Traditional home security systems don't stop someone from entering your home. They only react once someone is already inside. That's too late. Real security should stop a crime before it even starts. And that's why I only trust Simply Safe Home Security, because they take action while a criminal is still outside your home. When someone suspicious steps onto your property, Simply Safe's AI security cameras identify the potential threat and alert their professional monitoring agents. The agents can then confront the criminal and, if they need to, trigger sirens and spotlights and dispatch the police. And unlike other systems, you don't have to confront the intruder yourself. With Simply Safe's 24/7 monitoring agents, it's like having a security guard stationed right outside your home. And with a 60-day money-back guarantee and no long-term contracts, more than 4 million Americans trust Simply Safe to keep their homes and families safe every day. Right now, get 50% off your new system at simplysafedirect.com. That's simplysafedirect.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
All right, folks, as you know, the Fed just cut rates for the first time all year. The 15-year fixed mortgage rates have dropped to the lowest we've seen in 11 months. So if you're financially ready, now's a great time to buy or sell. I can tell you this. And then the rates are kind of popping around, so depending when you hear this, obviously things change. But I will tell you this. Here's why this is a great time to buy if you're prepared. Because if mortgage rates do drop, demand is going to increase. People are going to get off the sidelines, and that's going to drive prices back up. So while mortgage rates, if you look at the last 5 years, are higher than they were at all-time lows, and they're going, I'm just hoping, I'm praying to the mortgage rate fairy. It ain't happening. All right, because as mortgage rates drop, you're going to see housing prices go up. So the point here is sitting on the sideline, if you're ready, is not a great move. And you're going to need to have a pro, a Ramsey trusted real estate agent on your team, buying and selling a house, major transaction, maybe the biggest financial transaction most people ever make. And so you want to make sure that you got a pro walking you through it. You can find one for free at RamseySolutions.com/agents, RamseySolutions.com/agents. And by the way, if you not sure how you're doing on the baby steps, we also have a quick quiz called "Are You on Track with the Baby Steps?" Takes just a few minutes. You get a personalized plan so that you know where you are and can keep that momentum. It's in the show notes. Just click on the link. Are you on track with the baby steps? Emily is up in Dallas, Texas. Emily, how can we help today?
Hi, honored to speak to y'all. My question is about, I know interest rates just dropped and are possibly expected to drop again soon. I'm curious, we would like to refinance to a 15-year mortgage, but if rates don't drop below what we currently have, 5.75, would it make sense to recast at least and just be paying less in interest? Because we put down an additional about 30 grand on our principal in the past couple of years.
Way to go. And so you currently have a 5.75% rate on a 30-year?
Yes.
Okay. Have you actually gotten a quote yet to see what it would be to get a 15-year?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I played around on calculators online.
Yeah, and they can help. If you contact our friends at Churchill Mortgage, they can run the numbers for you and show you what's called a break-even analysis to show you how long it will take you for this to make sense.
Okay.
You know, they might say, hey, you'll get a 5%, but it's going to cost you this to refinance. So a year from now or 2 years from now, you will break even and then it will begin to make sense. And the recast isn't going to do anything except lower your payment. It's going to keep the loan length and the terms, the interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
So the way the recast would work is you make that a big, lump sum payment, they lower your payment down. But if you're following the Ramsey plan, you're knocking this mortgage out, it doesn't matter. If it lowers at $500, but you're throwing $500 extra versus a $1,000 payment, the same amount is going to principal.
Okay.
So what is your goal right now? Just to lower the payment or pay it off faster?
Both. We're newly in steps 4, 5, and 6, and so I just stare at that mortgage payment all the time, and it just makes me mad how high the interest is versus principal.
What's left on it?
Just figuring out. 368.
Okay. And are you guys in 4, 5, 6 where you're tackling the mortgage, throwing extra at it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. What's your track right now to pay it off early?
I haven't really looked into that much. I know I did something wrong. I was paying extra on the principal while we were in baby step 2, still, just because I hate how high it is. But now we're fully in 4, 5, 6, and just started contributing 15%. And so I've been paying $1,500 extra a month towards principal, and we are 3 years into the mortgage.
Okay. I'm so proud of you guys. You're making great progress. Yeah, the refinance can start to begin to make sense as these rates drop. And so I would just get in touch with our friends at Churchill Mortgage and see what the rates are currently at. On the 15-year, it's going to be lower than the 30-year in general. But again, based on the timing, who knows? But hopefully, if you can save at least 1% or more, I think the break even will start to look a lot better. So best of luck to you.
All right, real quick, imagine a whiteboard here, George, behind us. This is what I wish we had right here in the studio. Get a whiteboard out.
I love a whiteboard.
I do love a whiteboard. Love a quick lesson. I want to make sure people understand this. Mortgage rates. If you're trying to see what the market's doing, when Jerome Powell, who is the Fed chair, comes out and says we're going to lower the interest rate, that does not mean that your mortgage rate moves with it. All right. So mortgage rates, people who set the mortgage rates tend to follow the 10-year treasuries. So the yield, whatever the yield is on a 10-year treasury, on our 10-year treasury, is what you're going to see rates move. So as of today, the yield is flat. So you're going to see mortgage rates probably hold pretty steady to where they are. So I just wanted to, I want you to speak to that. I want people to make sure that when you see all the news, Jerome Powell and the Fed's meeting, everybody's paying attention. That does not have a direct, it can somehow, it's related, but it is not directly related.
And there's a
I'm trying to
lag
keep it
too.
simple.
There's generally a delay. It's
There
not
is
going to
a
happen
delay.
tomorrow. It might be 30 days, 60 days out. And it's important to also know a 15-year and 30-year mortgages, they also fall into different buckets.
That's correct.
In the industry, 15 years are seen as more of a short term versus 30 years are more long term. And so it follows different treasury yields.
That's right.
So you'll see that just because the 30-year rates move doesn't mean the 15s are going to move with it.
That is correct.
That's important to note too. But I wanted to just crunch some numbers.
Oh, I like it.
This will be fun. Like they said, their home value. She said they have 368,000 left. Is that right? So we're gonna just crunch some numbers here to show you what that would be like. Let's see if we got the down payment. All right. So 15-year fixed with a rate of 5.5. You're looking at $3,900 for a monthly payment. But if rates go down to let's say 4.5%, it's $3,700. So it's about $200 in savings a month with a rate change like that. So if you could shave off 1% with that plus interest, you could save a lot of money over the length of that loan. But again, if you're following the Ramsey plan, you're attacking that mortgage with a vengeance, you're not going to get hit with as much interest. When I paid off my mortgage, instead of paying 6 figures in interest over the course of even that 50-year loan, we paid less than $10,000 because of us aggressively attacking it.
Yeah. So play that out. So when people try to play that mathematics game, well, I'm not paying as much interest, but I'm also forking out a lot of cash. I'm playing devil's advocate here because I know you can handle that, but I mean, let's play that out. What's the response to that argument?
Well, generally the thinking is, well, I have a low interest on my mortgage, therefore I'm going to keep my cash invested.
Right.
Now, the chances of you having the mortgage payoff amount sitting in a savings account, slim to none.
Right. So there's a
Most people don't
false
have that.
narrative.
Exactly. Now go look at the amount you're actually paying in interest on what's called the amortization schedule. And you'll see that most of it is going towards interest in the beginning part of your loan. What's beautiful about the 15-year loan is that a lot more goes to principal a whole lot faster. So you're making way more progress, way faster when you do the 15-year fixed rate mortgage. So that's a beauty of it. And plus, when you think about a 30-year loan, it's double the time, which means you're paying double the interest, except a little bit more. Because generally, 30-year interest rates are going to be higher than the 15.
All
So
right.
a lot of nerdery there.
I love it. Trivia question for you related to this topic.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Question, and then I'm going to make a statement. Question is, what do you think the new average age in America is for a first-time home buyer? What do you think it is?
I'm going 32.
Is 38. Wow. 38 years of age. Now, before we go doom and gloom, I was thinking about this. I heard this morning. This is fresh. It's fresh.
I can tell.
Like the hot now sign at Krispy Kreme. I mean, I heard it this morning. I love fresh data. I'm sitting there listening to this in my car, and I go, you know what? Ramsey, our new crusade ought to be just if we could abolish anything, it would be student loans. Because I got to believe that student loans are, if not the primary factor, a major factor as to why we're seeing that age of the first-time home buyer jump up. Do you agree or disagree?
100%. Think about this. If you were debt-free out of college, making a good salary, and even had some savings in the bank, you could buy a home the Ramsey way in your mid-20s. Which means by the time you're 40, the thing is paid off.
Yeah.
If you do it our way with a 15-year fixed, let alone getting into your first home.
Boy,
So I think the reason we're delayed, yes, the housing market, yes, the economy, but also crippling debt,
That's what I think.
largely
it is.
due to student loans.
This is why I would get rid of the federal student loan
Yeah.
program. Private students, I would abolish it altogether. I would actually make the universities raise their own money to pay for tuition.
Let's go.
Oh boy, I'd change America, folks.
I think we see a big